would you go about describing the conference overall on St. Martin? The very first one to be held in an overseas territory.
Yeah, well, it's been a tremendous success in my view. We've had this event in Jamaica, in the Bahamas, in Trinidad, in Barbados, and we've done it multiple times in Jamaica, multiple times in the Bahamas, and I would say this is ranking somewhere between number 2 and number 3 in terms of the event size, but in terms of the quality, it's in the top 2. But certainly the great advancements have been made in terms of the youth forum. Excellent participation of the youth this year overall. The innovative, creative, and future thinking approaches coming from our youth delegates and the youth parliament, and of course the various sessions that have been collaboratively put on by partners. The fact that we've managed to maintain the attention of more than 70% of the delegates right into Friday, I think is a testament of a successful event.
A participation of over 18 countries, over 300 delegates coming from throughout the Caribbean region. You made mention of the participation, strong participation of the youth overall. What is SIDIMA, first and foremost, is taken away from this conference?
Well, there's a lot we're going to be taking away from the conference. The conference is happening at a very important juncture. Next year in the Caribbean, for the first time, we will host a regional platform for disaster risk reduction. And so a lot of the critical outcomes from the technical sessions you would have heard over the last few days is going to be a sort of Caribbean voice into that hemispheric conversation. So you will have Latin America, you will have South America, you will have North America, the US, along with the Caribbean in that space next year. And so we will be galvanizing a lot of the key messages from the event to be presented as the Caribbean's position or views or voice or direction on a number of these issues related to disaster risk reduction.
Based on the information as has been gathered, how soon will SIDIMA meet to discuss the outcome of this conference and that data is able to be gathered to ensure that everyone is on the right path?
So we have an experienced panel of rapporteurs capturing the sessions, the key outcomes, and by January, a final cut of that document should be available to us. We want to publish that, but also whatever is contained therein is going to be part of our technical. We have a governance arrangement, and so our technical advisory committee meeting, which is happening in April, which feeds into our management committee meeting in May, and then our Council of Ministers meeting in June. So we're hoping through that process we will be able to pull the key threads from that report in January into those spaces of dialogue and decision making, which includes all of our main territories. And then if there is certainly the need for higher policy level making decisions coming out of that consultation along that continuum, then there's the heads of government meeting where we will see how we can articulate some of this into that space.
A final question for you, sir. St. Martin is hosting the conference. Is there any commitment from St. Martin to become a full-fledged member of SIDIMA?
Absolutely. We've been having that conversation for some time, and we're now much closer to that happening. And in fact, I'm to share a letter as soon as I get out of this conference with the government confirming to them that our legal document, what we call our Articles of Agreement, makes provision for them to be able to join SIDIMA. So we've confirmed that, and I will be putting that in writing to the government for them to then take their next step, which is to put in their application to the Council of SIDIMA for membership.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
How are you doing this morning?
Good. So, Rebecca, thank you for coming.
I work as a psychologist at the Mental Health Foundation. I mainly see children and adolescents, but I also see adults.
So whenever there's a crowd, that's when you're starting to feel
nervous,
okay,
nauseous.
Okay.
It is kind of like your body. We are so used to taking care of our body. If we have a little ache in our foot, we know to rest it. We know, okay, I might have walked too much, so I need to rest. Now, of course, that can be just an ache in my foot, but I can also break my leg. Now, for breaking my leg, I would have to go to the doctor. So that kind of goes the same for mental health illnesses. So you can come in for something little as, I'm really stressed out lately. What would you need? A little bit of rest. But someone can also come in with way more difficulties. We're not here to judge right or wrong, good or bad. Is it helpful for you? Fine. Is it not helpful for you? Okay, then let's see what we can do about it. But not a wrong nor right, absolutely not. It's a magnifying glass without judgment.
Well, there's still a lot of stigma on the island, unfortunately. It's not a topic that people easily talk about, and that's a shame. They're afraid that they get judged, and there is still quite a bit of judgment. I mean, often we hear, don't go to that crazy house. Once you go in, you never go back. And it's just not true, We treat a lot of patients here, and a lot of them, we get back on their feet.
Our goal at the Mental Health Foundation is for us to help you improve your life, for you to live a better, happier, and fuller life.
The library is in the process of having a, should I say, director in place as per next year, January. First of all, can you give us an idea as to what's taking place there?
The library board has recently, it was a long process, has recruited a new director. Since the leaving of Mrs. Alberts last year, we had an interim director. The new director will start her work as of January 1st. Tomorrow the staff will be informed about the person officially, and then as of next week I can disclose the name with you too.
Of course, I'm going to use that interview maybe on Tuesday, but first of all, who is the person in question?
Yeah. If you're not going to...
No, I promise.
Okay. Well, the library board has appointed Miss Gwendolyn Holliday as the new library director. Miss Holliday has a background in education. She has a bachelor's and also a master's, if I'm not mistaken, and she has an extensive experience in government, and she is the right lady at the right time to take the library to the next level.
What process or procedure was used in that you were able to select the most suitable candidate for the library?
Well, we went through the regular process. Vacancy was posted in the media, and then we had several candidates. The board had 2 rounds of interviews with the candidates, and in the first round it was more getting to know the people, let them explain a little bit about who they were, what their experiences are. And then we selected 2 to 3 people for the second round, in which they had made a presentation on a topic for the future of the library, and they presented that, and that's how the selection was made.
You currently have an interim director in the name of Dr. Lucas. How are things at the library?
Right now, people don't like change. that's human nature. So Mr. Lucas has been asked to pave the way for the new director to make sure that certain files that were pending for a long time, that those are cleared out of the way. So when Miss Holiday starts, she doesn't have to deal with all these minor things, maybe not a good word, but practical issues.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
It is an honor for me to be here representing you this morning in the capacity of Minister of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor. There is much to be done, and it is my intent to continue meeting with management within the ministry and other stakeholders for an overall assessment on the state of affairs. Together, we will all discuss and tackle key preliminary objectives of the Ministry of VSA, which include growing labor issues such as unemployment, domestic and sexual abuse, especially as it relates to minors, the adequate care for babies, overall health care, and the quality of care on the island. The main objective of the ministry is to improve the overall living conditions of our registered citizens by creating employment opportunities. It is my belief that the creation of job opportunities and placement will further lead to implementing more controlled collection procedures for an increase in the collection of social insurance premiums. These collections will in turn contribute to the coffers of our beloved country, St. Martin, and further may alleviate our country's ongoing deficit. It is also important to encourage our citizens to live a healthier lifestyle, which will contribute towards improving the overall living conditions, thereby decreasing sick leave in the job place and the added burden placed on our social values and remedies. How are we trying to implement this? Basically, sorry for my voice. Yes, how we are trying to implement this? We are trying to decrease unemployment amongst our locals. We are trying to decrease unemployment amongst our locals, enhance employment opportunities, ensuring the collection of social insurance premiums to further contribute to the country's bottom line, making sure that our vulnerable groups are well taken care of, specifically babies, children, underage, seniors, and disabled persons, and the banning of smoking in public areas, which will also contribute to a healthier environment. Consequences of all the above will be that we will be improving overall living conditions, resulting in a healthier community. We will be looking into the deteriorating social values and remedies of the country, St. Martin. We will increase collection by working together with the Ministry of Justice, General Affairs, and Finance. As a professional, I would like to inform to the country of St. Martin that basically I am here to instill and to help the entire cabinet, the entire government, which is the coalition of NA and USB. I would like to give a special thanks giving me the opportunity to be placed in this position and capacity in order to contribute to help the country of St. Martin. We are not going to reinvent the wheels. We are going to use existing laws, existing policies, existing advices that has been given in order to execute and have the wheel continue rolling. We will be ensuring that residents are granted equal opportunities in the workforce, more specifically, those who are skilled and qualified to fulfill decent jobs in the community. And by working with the Ministry of Justice, General Affairs, and Finance on implementing and enforcing procedures for the collection of social insurance and premiums. It have different other topics. That are of importance that the Ministry of VSA is looking into. But like I said, we will be using this short time to basically have meetings with the different head of departments in order to get the right information before providing any information to the public.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Jose Helaga and I play basketball. I have organized basketball events in St. Martin. Sport matters to me because it makes everybody come together in unity. So I challenge the businesses community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facility. I'm also asking the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take on the challenge and step up for sport because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sports SXM Facebook page for more information. Hashtag Sport Matter, hashtag Are You In?
Mr. Chairman, I know certain questions also have been asked about our cruise tourism and why things are not what we were hoping they would be, and that the arrivals at the port, that they are down. I've also heard remarks about, and whether they were on the floor or not, I can't remember, but in the hall I heard remarks about everybody screaming about pre-clearance, but St. Martin cannot really afford pre-clearance. I think for a future meeting or a future reference discussion, one needs to really sit down and explain what it's all about, the benefits of it. But also, it isn't so that the airport is going to build a facility and pay for the facility, pay for this, pay for that, pay for everything else, and it comes from nowhere. We have screening of passengers, and who pays for it? The people who are being screened. So every passenger that goes through the airport has to pay a fee. It's hidden in your ticket. We used to have long lines at the airport of people paying their departure tax, their departure fee. That is no longer the case. In some other countries, you still have it. But in St. Martin, at least, it's prepaid in the ticket. So the same way, any passenger who is using the pre-clearance facility would have to pay a fee, and that fee will be based on the amount of the operations and the cost for it. But we are not really discussing pre-clearance here today, but it came up, and I wouldn't want to, make the people believe or allow people to believe that members of parliament are screaming pre-clearance, but pre-clearance is something that is bad for St. Martin. One of my colleagues was questioning government sort of in terms of the cutback or the drop in cruise tourism or arrivals at our cruise terminal. Mr. Chairman, you cannot divorce that from discussions that previous members of the previous government were having with global ports about taking over the operations at the harbor. We all know that at one point in time, the FCCA was the best thing that happened to St. Martin and other Caribbean destinations, and promises were made that if this is allowed, they will guarantee X amount of passengers, and if they do this, that amount of passengers. So here comes Global Port and is making offers not only to St. Martin, but in other jurisdictions. And I believe it is a counterpunch by the FCCA to say, well, okay, if you are going to entertain global ports, let me show you how this works. The people to answer as to why our numbers are down, they are no longer here. They are no longer here. Particularly the Minister of Tourism, who was telling people that he has been traveling and he's been meeting with the cruise officials, and they have an excellent relationship and how great things were going to be. And then smack, we are hit in the face with a drop in our numbers. And maybe one would say it's a good thing they are no longer in charge, but they are the ones to answer. They are the ones who have that information. This government is here a bare 2 weeks, I believe, and therefore would be kind of asking a bit too much to expect this government to explain in detail why is it that our numbers are down. Mr. Chairman, as I've stated before in the first round, it is not a matter of changing lanes or changing minds. One of the main objections members of parliament had was basically saying, government, if you have your agreement and you got your approval, because what was being said back then, the longer you hold out on approving of the budget, we can't move forward with the airport. Once the budget is approved, this would give us the opportunity to ensure that the airport financing can proceed. So the budget was approved long ago. And therefore, members of parliament were saying, hey, we have not forbidden you, but if you're asking me for my approval, then at least give me the information. And what was clear, whenever, because it's not the first time, whenever there was a meeting of parliament in here about the airport, and government was clobbered over the head about things that were lacking, about information that was forthcoming and we were not getting, we would see, particularly when you peruse the documents, there was a meeting on the 1st, and on the 14th, an addendum comes with some of the things to address the criticism of Parliament. You have another meeting on the 29th, by the 12th, the 14th, or the 15th of the next month. The addendum comes and has been included. Now, members, those who wanted, could have perused the document, get the information that is lacking, that was needed, that they were asking for. And yes, we agree. We all don't agree with some of the details. We all don't agree with some of the concessions that had to be made, but we are also realistic that if we try to turn back the hands of time, wipe everything off the table, and demand that we start all over again, we might be here in 2022 arguing about where the money will come from or where the better deal will come from. Is this the best deal? Who am I to say? But definitely, there are components of the deal that we do not like. There are components of the deal that we think could have been much better. And what we were fearing then, and again, thank God that period is gone, that we had a government that had dropped the guards and were letting the Dutch take over, and take more over. All with the carrot of the so-called 550 million, the big bag of money that would come and save St. Martin. But what we see in retaliation and in response, before they spend $1, before they commit $100, St. Martin had to bend over and give and give and give. Border control was one of the things that the Dutch had asked for, and today one would ask, do we have border control? Is someone really in charge of controlling the border? Because just today, a young man had a discussion with me, and he is in the construction, and their concern is that it can't compete against the influx of Venezuelans. No offense to them. And we are not saying pack them up and get rid of them, but it has an effect on the local labor market and construction market where jobs are given to the lowest, the cheapest workforce, and unfortunately, it isn't among the local people who have to live here and stay here and have nowhere else to go.